a friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie, yo 708. Titan that neighborhood. My brothers and sisters. I got off of work so freaking late today, Bean Team. It's a long story short, story long, right? I was contemplating not even doing a reaction Beanie yo today. But then I thought about it. And I said, I gotta do one today. Because today, it is another Wednesday. So y'all know who we about to go back to. Mike from that chapter. It is always a delight, Bean Team, when we get to go back to Mike. And the title of the video is TikToker secretly records the moments after killing her boyfriend. Now, I'm just wondering, did this TikToker actually upload this video to TikTok, or at least try to? You know what I'm saying, man? This is just crazy. Another freaking crazy one we're about to get into. And it's a long one, too, y'all. It's a long one. It's almost an hour long. So y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you may need. Get what you need, please. It is another That Chapter Wednesday. Y'all got what y'all need, y'all ready to go. Then let's go.
Well, hi guys, it's me. I'm going to be taking a break from TikTok for a bit, I think, because I've been a bad girl. If you want to get in touch with me, like I said, just Google me and I'm sure it'll pop up. But there's always two sides to every story, and I'm no sweet dream, but I have all I know.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike. And in this whole video, TikTok is a very strange place, and a lot of strange people will share things on there perhaps they really shouldn't have, including some dark secrets. For a lot of times, it's for the very strangest of reasons, and it's absolutely bananas. And today I have for you 4 stories that all originated there. 2 of the stories coming from TikTokers who came to horrifying ends. The other 2, they did the doing. But before we get into all of that, please subscribe to see new stories for the dark every single Tuesday. Now, you and I, let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go. And get whatever you may need.
Our first story takes us to the town of Andover in England. It's a town in the very south of England. About 50,000 people live there. And in that town, a woman in her mid-30s, she was posting away on TikTok very frequently. The content was pretty fascinating in the kind of upset stomach kind of way. You ever get sick, throw up, and you're kind of just stunned by what you see. Well, this is very similar to that, only instead of a toilet bowl, it's her TikTok account.
Would you date me?
We're going on holiday tomorrow. We're going to be leaving. Hold on. Let me look at my clock. It's 1 o'clock. We'll be leaving this time tomorrow. Yeah, fate tanned ourselves. We're looking good. Can't wait to go. Oh my god. Apparently there's storms though in Benidorm, so we're hoping that it's not stormy. Oh, wait. See you tomorrow at the airport, guys.
Winter Onyx Swan had been posting on TikTok since about 2022. She posted a lot of these very heavily edited videos.
First, we went to Windsor Lego World. because our flights were cancelled. Now we've come to the airport. As you can see, I'm at the airport. We've come a day early, so now we've just got to wait. Well, getting bus back into Benidorm, back into the room, and it's a fucking just nightmare. So there you go. Fucking welcome to Winter's World.
She posted a lot about herself, whatever these videos are, and her dog, Oblivion, a Pomeranian. She posted about Oblivion the dog a lot, actually. That's something to note about the story of Winter, born Winter Onyx Swan Miller. She was mad about dogs, loved them to bits. In fact, that's what, according to her LinkedIn, she did for a living. I am Winter, pleased to meet everyone. I'm currently looking for a new job role in the animal sector, particularly with dogs. I have experience in dog handling, dog sitting, dog walking. Also, I have knowledge of different kinds of breed of dog and how to accommodate to their needs. Therefore, I've started breeding my elite dogs after careful and extensive studies. I would love to continue doing this on a larger scale with more challenges, and also acquire more skill requirements. According to her Instagram bio, I'm no sweet dream, but I'm a hell of a knight. I'd rather be a nightmare than die unaware. Though how she would find the time to get a job, or be a nightmare with the constant amount of social media posts she did on her myriad social media accounts, I'm talking like all the platforms, multiple accounts on all the platforms, is the biggest unsolved mystery of all. Winter grew up in Derbyshire with her mother, which is a fair bit from where she would later end up. Growing up, it wasn't easy for Winter, though her mom was fantastic, according to Winter, an incredible woman. Her dad, who lived in the south, wasn't the best.
I don't know, y'all. All I know is freaking Winter giving me like a weird vibe. You know what I'm saying, man? Like it's just something about her and I can't put my finger on it. But let's just keep listening. That's why I'm just like, I don't know what to make of her yet. You know what I'm saying, man? Let's find out though.
Not a great fella. Here's a quote from Winter. He was not a very nice person. He would always say I was useless and I was fat and I would never amount to anything. It made me feel worthless, that I was never good enough. He used to say that I was never going to be his little princess. I felt disgusting and horrible. She stopped seeing her dad around age 12 after he shaved her head, as kind of dads do to their daughters, and it was around that same time she stopped attending school. Winter later began to abuse drugs, hang out with boys who were far too old for her, and then sadly when her mom passed away, things kind of like spiraled out from there. I mean, as you can tell from her TikToks, she's not all there. Maybe. It started with weed and party drugs and then took a detour to a heroin highway and crack alley. It does make you sympathize a little bit with the content she was posting. She was someone who craved the attention she never received as a child. She was certainly going about it the wrong way, but what do I know? Her final TikTok...
Okay, now it's starting to make a little more sense about Winter, man. I knew it had to be something. Number one, just the fact that her freaking childhood just went to hell in a handbasket. You know what I'm saying? Father just... was the worst father possible, just treated her wrong, stopped being with him. Mama died at a young age, and now she on TikTok trying to get the attention that she wanted as a little child. And during while her mama and daddy end up leaving her life or whatever, she fell into the streets and started getting on drugs. And we ain't talking about weed, we talking about heroin and ish. And another thing that just throwing me off, y'all, to each their own, but it's something about all those tattoos that just make her look even more crazy or something. I don't know. I know you don't supposed to judge the book by its cover, but god damn it, I just did it. Let's go.
TikTok video would be, of course, the most attention-seeking of all.
At the moment, I feel sick, but I don't feel that I've done a bad thing at all.
It was when her home was smashed up, her words, by drug dealers. That's what brought her to the town of Andover when she started dating, got into a relationship with, oh boy, another drug dealer who lived there. And via this drug dealer, that's what kind of takes us to the crux of the Winter Onyx Swan story. Via this drug dealer, she would meet a man named Stuart Crocker. And this is when the story begins. The story of Winter, the story of Stuart, and the story of Oblivion.
Stop right there, criminal scum.
Not that Oblivion. In the June of 2023, Stuart Crocker of New Street, Andover, he hadn't been seen He hadn't been seen for a few days.
Uh-oh.
62-year-old Stuart Crocker was an army veteran. How he came into contact with Winter, we don't know but can assume, and it seems that at one point she in fact lived with him for a while. Were they like boyfriend-girlfriend? There were recordings which would show Stuart thought Winter was the most beautiful woman in the world. He lost his glasses in the war. But whether they were actually like exclusively boyfriend-girlfriend, I don't think Winter would be familiar with the term. They hung out, let's say that way. Friends of Stuart became worried though after not hearing from him over the summer, and one friend dialed 999 on June 28, 2023, as no one had heard from Stuart for about 5 days by this point. Officers eventually arrived to his home in a place called The Signals, an apartment block, and doing a welfare check and eventually gaining entry to his home, they found it dead quiet inside, all the curtains drawn, but it was oddly cool. And looking around, they saw fans. Many fans had been left on. Continuing further into his apartment, his flat, they found Stuart Crocker's brutally murdered body. The fans had been set up all around the pool of blood he lay in the carpet to try and slow down the smell and the decomposition. He'd been dead for some time when the police found him, likely murdered in the 5 days since he hadn't been heard in the early morning hours of June 23rd. He had been stabbed 27 times. It was a very, very gruesome and very violent scene. No drugs nor alcohol were found in his body. An investigation into who could have done this, sprang up immediately. And the police began to trace his bank cards, his debit cards and his credit cards. And they found that since his time of death, his cards have been used quite a bit. Most recently, a charge of £249, which, as you know, using the card somewhere, you probably got footage of said person using that card. And who was it? It was, of course, Winter Onyx Swan. Winter...
Of course it was her. But one thing I gotta point out, y'all, is just the fact of how older Stuart was than her, and rest in peace to him. But you know what I'm saying, man? It seemed like a type of gold diggish type of sugar daddy relationship they probably had going on just because of the age difference. Winter probably was just taking advantage of this dude. I don't know, y'all. But we already knew it was gonna be her.
Was later found in Walsall, near Birmingham. Was she laying low? Not at all. She was partying even harder than ever before. The immediate theory was that she had been living with him, she had murdered him for his money, which was not a great amount, and then fled back to Birmingham and was just going on a tear. She probably knew she would eventually be caught, and so she was going to go out with a bang. In fact, a man would say he had an unusual interaction with Winter, shortly before she was arrested in Birmingham. This guy worked in Tesco, the supermarket, and he was walking out. Finishing his shift, he was walking out, she was walking in. He was getting ready to get on his motorbike. She just happened to be walking past him and asked if she could have a hug. He thought this was kind of strange, but said, okay. She then said, I'm going to be famous. She knew she would be arrested. And
wow.
She was. She had his bank cards, his items, and her own jewelry was still covered in his blood. Winter's DNA was found on his hand, on his member, and in his underwear. And at trial, a forensic scientist would say that was likely there due to intercourse. It was impossible to say when, but likely shortly before he was killed. But whether that intercourse was consensual or no, it was impossible to say. Well, of course, according to the prosecution. Because Winter knew exactly. All right, she knew. She had a story of her own. She said that he had attacked her, assaulted her, and so in self-defense, she grabbed a knife and stabbed Stuart Crocker to death. And this wasn't even the first time. He had done this many, many times to her. She had been victimized, living with Stuart Crocker for months until she finally snapped. He pushed her over the edge. There was only so much she could take. A tragic tale. That's what she said, and so she knew she was going to get done for it. She was going to just party the nights away until she was eventually caught, and she gave up without a fuss. But then, of course, a few things came out. One being an audio recording that was found in Stuart Crocker's apartment. This was an audio recording between Winter and Stuart a couple of days before, and in it, Winter very plainly said that she wanted to murder somebody. And that's the thing that's sort of thought to be like the real motive for murder was that, well, remember how I said Winter loved dogs? Especially Oblivion the dog. Well, there had been an incident regarding that little Pomeranian. She posted a lot of TikToks about her dog, Oblivion, and maybe something happened. See, while Winter was staying with Stuart, one day he left the door open, and Oblivion booked it. Then, it seems the dog, an expensive breed I guess, was stolen. Winter was beyond distraught, and she blamed Stuart for it all for leaving the door open. Now, Oblivion was later found and rescued.
Oblivion, are you happy? Is Oblivion happy? Is Mummy's home? You got Mummy back? Yes, because you got stolen. Now you're back.
But this, the prosecution said, was the motive for murder. The motive for her to stab Stuart 27 times and then strangle him with the strap of her handbag. And then,
Well, if that's a reason for murdering him, then that's a terrible reason. Long story short, story long, man. I'm sorry. You gon' get up in that jail cell for the rest of your life, Winter. Please, you can't come out winter, fall, summer, spring, no more time. Keep your ass in that jail cell, man. This is terrible. Then stabbed him 27 times, y'all. And then another thing that just, okay, if the dude was abusing you or whatever, why in the freak would you not tell the police as soon as you killed him? You know what I'm saying, man? Why was you off partying, off his money, taking money out of his freaking bank account, partying off his money while he dead in the pool of blood? Why did you set up the freaking fan? You know what I'm saying? Why you had the fans blowing trying to hide it? Like, come on, man. Get your ass in that jail cell, Winter. Go get in there with Spring.
then of course there was this TikTok video. It was never published. The police found it on her phone after her arrest. According to the police, there were 4 parts in total, all recorded at the scene of the crime in the minutes and hours after the murder. Only part 1 has been released.
Well, hi guys. It's me, Winter, Onyx, ONYX, Swan, S3AN, Miller, MILLER. I'm from the UK and south of the UK. I've been a bad girl. So I've gave you my name, I've gave you my location. If anyone wants to get in touch with me, just give me a Google search, and I'm sure you'll be able to find out where I am. And if you want to write to me, I'll happily write back. And I can only explain when the time comes, but I had to do what I did because of my situation. There's more to the story than just one side. I just hope that it all goes well, really. At the moment, I feel sick, but I don't feel that I've done a bad thing at all. It's nearly 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm starving. So look, there's Oblivion. I got him back. He got stolen by some drug addicts, my therapy dog. So I got him back. But I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go for a McDonald's breakfast. If you wanna get in touch with me, like I said, just Google me. Winter Onyx, Swan Miller, south of England. And I'm sure it'll pop up.
Finally, no
Going to go get some freaking McDonald's breakfast while this man is literally dead in the same house that you in. It's freaking crazy, and you the one who did it. You got your dog just all peacefully on the couch. You're talking all crazy through the TikTok, saying that I've been a bad girl. You don't say, Winter, Onyx, Miller. You don't say.
notes written in her diary about the murder were found in Walsall when she was arrested. Notes that were still covered in Stuart Crocker's own blood. I can't believe I stabbed him to death in the throat, the back, on the neck, all the body, then I choked him with my LV Louis Vuitton bag. Haha, Oblivion was rolling in his blood. That fat git, he raped me, scared me, and I lost it taking my dog. I told you I would never allow that. I killed Stuart, haha. He f***ing let my dog out, and I f***ing stabbed him. Now, the courts would say they believed those accounts written by her were fake. She knew she would be caught, so she was writing all these accounts of him being a horrible monster, in her own defense. For the eventual arrest, she would be, accounted for. The jury wouldn't buy her story of her being a victim of Stuart Crocker, of him assaulting, and then her killing him in self-defense, and her TikToks did not go in her favor. There was only one victim, and that was Stuart. Winter Swan Miller was eventually sentenced to 23 years in prison. By the way, I hear you barking, big dog. Oblivion the dog, what became of him? Got a new family. Happy days, right? Has been settled with a new family, and in fact has a new name. No longer called Oblivion anymore, because that sounds kind of, well, a little bit dark after kind of what his previous owner did. He's now called Fluffy.
Man, I hope Fluffy live a good life, BE team, after getting away from that monster that was his freaking owner, man. Oh my God, that one is terrible, y'all. But I'm just sitting back. Y'all already know what I'm thinking. Big dog, like Mike just said. Man, 23 years? I don't think that's enough. Hell to the no. That lady need life in prison. Not 23 years. Then she looked younger, on the younger side. Well, it looked like she gonna do them 20 years and get back out on the streets once again. Nah, I ain't with that being team. It's crazy what she did though, and her actions afterwards make it even that much more worse. Let's continue.
In this whole video, we are looking at various stories set in various parts of the world. And personally, traveling ain't nothing I love more than traveling. Except you, of course. But you know what I'm not a huge fan of?
I think Mike gone to a commercial, y'all. Yeah, NordVPN. Shout out to NordVPN. Shout out to Mike from that chapter. That was just like, I don't want to make the excuse, but we know that she came up bad. You know what I'm saying? Lost her parents, then got addicted to the streets and drugs and all that. But that wasn't right what she did to that man. And them 23 years, hell no, being team. I ain't agreeing with that. Let's go.
25-year-old Menelis Zoe Rodriguez Ramirez, or Mimi as she went by, was a growing fitness TikToker.
Oh, yo ando bien aburrida. Ok, ando aquí en el gimnasio. No estoy haciendo ejercicio porque estoy viendo bombrea. Pero ando aquí media escondidita, porque nadie me ve. A mí se me están quitando las ganas de venir a este gimnasio. Si no es que apestan, es que viene el tipo, se saca el culillón es como se te mete el calzoncillo por el culo. Viene y agarra, se quita el culillón y viene y agarra la pesa. Y después viene y saca los mocos y vuelve a agarrar la pesa. ¿Qué hago? Muchas me dicen, ay Mimi, tú desde las 4 o 5 de la mañana en el gimnasio. Ay mija, por lo menos estoy trabajando en mí. Bueno, ustedes querían la segunda parte del por qué yo estuve en la cárcel. Bueno.
The Puerto Rican native had moved to the state of Georgia and was determined to make an impact. And she was making the beginnings of one. 35,000 followers ain't nothing to sneeze at, as she posted again and again about fitness, her entrepreneurial ideas, and getting them gains. She was a bit of an entrepreneur, had started a beauty business, but was also thinking about her own line of gym wear, jewelry, and so on and so forth. We could all follow La Historias de Mimi, the history of Menelis Zoe Rodriguez Ramirez, who was this hardworking, determined young woman.
And right now, y'all, I don't know if she gonna end up being the killer or the victim in this freaking story. You know what I'm saying? Mike said that we got 2 stories about killers on TikTok, and we got 2 stories of victims on TikTok, right? And we already had 1 killer with Winter. Now, what this lady got going on? Let's find out.
But somewhere along the way, a man had started watching her TikToks, following her on all her socials. A young man from Mexico who had come to the United States. He had come over illegally, whether he was there for her or just in general, we don't know. Mimi had developed an obsessed fan. They'd even begun talking. though she didn't know the exact nature of his sickness. So a lot of those followers became worried when Mimi, she suddenly stopped posting, and then her family became even extremely more worried when no one had seen her as days and days went on. Because one day she went to Walmart and she never came back. The last text she sent was a text that was weird. It didn't sound like Mimi at all. Her fiance immediately knew upon receiving a text that something was very, very wrong. Earlier the day she disappeared, October 22nd, 2024, she posted her final 2 TikToks. And this was mere minutes before she walked into the Walmart and was never seen alive again.
Hola, soy Mimi, como todos me conocen. Bueno, vengo aquí con un tema, no sé si les ha pasado que tú como persona quieres lograr un emprendimiento.
It's just crazy seeing her literally a couple of minutes before it's about to be the end for her, man. Hey, we got our answer real quick on this one, Bean Team. She is a freaking victim of a freaking maniac stalker. And I hope he get caught, and I hope he get life in prison, man. Damn, we need some justice around here. Let's see if we can get it.
She had said she was going to a Walmart in a place called Cornelia, a small town in Georgia, as she was selling a photo to someone there. This was on the evening of October 22nd, 2024. Now, that photo was of her. She had an OnlyFans, so we can only assume it was a photo of the explicit kind. Fair enough. But maybe it's not a good idea to meet somebody you're selling photos of yourself, because they could be a bit weird. She'd walk into that Walmart at around 9:30 p.m. So late enough, but she never texted her boyfriend, came home that night. It was only the following morning that her boyfriend, her fiance, woke up, rolled over in the bed, and saw she wasn't there. Like, she was supposed to be home, where was she? He began looking around for her in their apartment. No sign of her. It was finally then, as he was going to call her, he checked his phone. He saw he had received a text from her phone in the middle of the night. The text read, "I'm waiting for the brother to pick him up." Who in the what now? He knew something was off. That was weird. That was not what... text doesn't even make sense or sound like something she would say. Her vehicle was outside that Walmart, but there was no sign of her. In the car remained her wallet and 1 shoe. 2 separate vehicles had been spotted near her vehicle before the search began. Who they belonged to, no one knew, but it was immediately very worrying that something or someone had done a horrifying act to this young woman.
Right now in Habersham County, the sheriff's office is searching for a woman who went missing nearly a week ago after going to a local grocery store and never returning home. Deputies say 25-year-old Milenis Rodriguez was last heard from around 9:30 p.m. on Tuesday night after going to Walmart in Cornelia wearing a blue hoodie and white shorts. She has several tattoos on her arms and neck. If you know anything that could help investigators and lead to her safe return, please call the sheriff's office.
And right now, I'm just wondering, how in the freak did the kidnapper, like the killer, I hate to say that, but you know that's where we going with this story. But like, where's the footage, man, of inside Walmart? Like, it gotta be something of him forcing her to go inside his car or whatever, man. I hope we got some evidence, Bean Team. We should. It's freaking Walmart. Cameras everywhere in there.
It was less than a week after she vanished and the frenzy, to find her began that, in fact, an arrest was announced. The arrest of 24-year-old Angel de Jesus Rivera Sanchez.
Kidnapping charges in connection to Milenis Rodriguez's death. The 25-year-old went missing a week ago in Habersham County. She was last seen at a Walmart in Cornelia.
He was arrested in Atlanta on kidnapping charges. He'd been on his way out of the country, but was found at a bus stop with a ticket to Texas and a hotel already booked in Mexico. He had been tracked via text messages between himself and Mimi, and matching phone locations from when she vanished. Both Mimi and Angel had been at that Walmart. Clearly, Mimi had been going to meet him and sell her photos, but then, together, they left the Walmart, went to his apartment, then to a park, then to a church, and finally, the last ping was from Furniture Drive, a road behind some stores near the woods, not far from the original Walmart where this all began. It looked like immediately that he had abducted her, kidnapped her from that Walmart at knife point, at gunpoint, at whatever point, and then they'd gone to quite a number of places. What had happened, we don't know, but I mean, the mind boggles at how horrifying it could have been. The day after he was arrested, then Mimi's body was found where her phone last pinged, on Furniture Drive. She'd been shot multiple times. She'd been shot multiple times in the head. The gun and her phone has never been found. If Angel de Jesus Rivera Sanchez is found guilty, he could face the death penalty. Though, Mimi's mom does not think he acted alone. She thinks others were involved. Mimi was strong and tough. She could fight off this little fella, especially if they met in a public place.
Angel de Jesus Rivera Sanchez had help.
I don't think he'd do it by himself. I don't think he can handle Mimi by himself.
Because she was strong.
Yeah, she was very strong.
That final text sent from her phone, "I'm waiting for the brother to pick him up." Maybe that was Mimi who sent that. Maybe she agreed to wait with Angel until his ride arrived, and then she was abducted by whoever else had come. Or it was simply Angel or someone texting from her phone in order to buy time, so she wouldn't be home sooner. Had something happened at her car, once she was found still inside there, and it's not like she would have left without it. So who knows what happened? Maybe she went into that Walmart to sell him something and she was surrounded. Maybe there was nobody else involved. Maybe they had agreed to go somewhere else. We don't know, but the lesson here is really, you know, for a growing influencer, fitness person, TikToker, be careful who you meet because you don't know what their intentions could be.
Yep, that's the long story short, story long moral of the story, Bean Team. Hey man, some of these people out here who be following you when you be an influencer like that be off their freaking rocker, and there will be a shocker if they meet you. Like seriously, man, I just wonder, like, dude, how did he come? Because I don't think like he forced her. Because they went to a couple of different locations. Like, I don't think he forced her to leave the Walmart and convince her to come back to his home or whatever. Maybe he lied and said, I got some more money or whatever. But I feel like there was a point where when they met up, Mimi was actually trusting him. For a little split second, then maybe later on he pulled a gun out. It was like, you better not go no more in well. But at first, I think while they was leaving that Walmart, she was okay with it. She was consenting to leaving with him for whatever reason. But that's one of them ones, Being Team, where you can pretty much come up with a damn near infinite amount of theories of what really happened and how it happened. We'll never know. I just hope, y'all already know I'll take the death penalty. I'm all down for that. But at least I hope that he get charged with life in prison. Let's go, y'all. We still got 2 more to go.
This next story takes us to England again. I'm starting to notice this like pattern with these darkest TikToks accounts because I'm pretty sure in the previous ones I've done, there was also a TikTok in England. What's going on there, lads? See, there a TikToker was a little bit more of an influencer than, say, the legendary winter swan Onyx Miller. This one had a bit more of a fan base, about 200,000 followers, which is a few. And her name was Mahak Bukhari. Her Maybe Vlogs account was growing like crazy. She was an up-and-coming influencer, prolific, posting all the challenges, you know, makeup routines, and when your girls be like, he be like, and just lip-syncing to songs and movies. I tried, but I could only find one single video where she's actually talking. It's just her lip-syncing and dancing to music and all the rest of them.
Bitch! Bitch, what? He's fucking here. Your ex is fucking here. Oh my god, no way. Why though? Bitch, I don't fucking know. Oh, I bet he's gonna say the heartbreak led you to die or something. Bitch, no. He can't be involved in my death. Bitch, he brought his new girl here too, and she's blonde. No fucking way.
This is one of her most popular videos. It's pretty incredible.
Bitch, he's coming with his new girl. Shit. Hey, stand over there and watch this. Okay. Loving you, bestie. See you now.
Winter Swan Miller may have had a face like a slapped arse, but I sure miss her.
Hey, you happy?
So Mehek was doing well for herself. She was in her early 20s, living life good, seemed to have success ahead, and she was also studying at Manchester Metropolitan University. Fashion, what else? Though she had dropped out to focus on TikTok. And she had a close relationship with her mom, Ansreen, who appeared in many of her vlogs.
Guys, we are currently in the Blue Mosque. I'm here with my mum. Hi. Mum, how beautiful is the mosque?
Beautiful, amazing.
So nice. Like, we're so far enjoying day one. Can't wait to eat it.
We're so starved.
We're hungry, like always.
But that's not necessarily what makes Maybe Vlogs a part of this video, because, well, there just so happens to be an incident between Mehek, her mom, Ansreen, a few other goons, and a few other people. And the incident I'm talking about is blackmail and eventually murder. That started with this and led to this.
Near Neyman. No, yeah, we were.
Where was that?
So we stayed here, and then we went straight to Nottingham.
Right. Okay. In the Audi.
Yes, Audi.
Elite mother, as Mehek would call her, Ansreen, you know, she had the cameos in the Maybe Vlogs, and she was kind of like everybody's favorite mom. You know, what a darling. And, well, you know, she thought she was too cool for school, basically. You know, she was like looking at her own growing presence. I mean, she was out partying with her, you know, early 20s daughter. Kind of a bit weird, a little bit sad. But she was out there doing it. I guess she wanted a taste of the fame her daughter had found. But you know what else she wanted? Was love. That's what she really wanted. She wanted some hearts. She wanted the love and affection that her daughter was getting, but in a romantic way. By the way, Ansreen was married. Mehek's dad. Still all together. Still all live together. So she kind of just wanted to cheat on him. I guess. This is not going to end well. Rarely does. Regardless though, Ansreen wanted somebody to make your heart go thud-thud. In 2019, however, Ansreen thought she had found her new love. She had met a much younger man named Saqib via the app Azar. Azar, it's a dating app. You video chat with people and hopefully you hit it off. Ansreen and Saqib did more than that, my friends. They began to talk. Soon it was every day. Yapping away, talking about this and that. They began to meet up, you know, in physical locations at hotels, you know, restaurants, doing all the things. They were having this little affair that was, well, to Saqib, it was everything. To Ansreen, it was kind of just like a bit of fun and she just enjoyed the attention. Things were going well. But sadly, this would have an explosive end. Quite literally. It was in Leicestershire, February 11th, 2022, that in the very wee hours, I'm talking 1:30 AM, that a 999 call came into dispatchers. The man on the end of the line was frantic, screaming at the dispatcher that someone was after him. He said he was driving in a car with a friend and they were being followed. Someone was trying to kill them.
Is it the husband being team? Is it Assurin? I think that's her name, something like that. I know I'm effing it up. But the mama of the little girl, the mama who having a midlife crisis right now, and turned back into her old ways, and out here being a little cougar, shaking her tail feather. Let me stop, man. Is it her husband? Because we got to keep in mind that she's still freaking married. Did the husband get mad and just go after Shabib or whatever the little young whippersnapper name is that she cheating on her husband with? It's a good guess. Let's find out.
The call ended, and the next thing anyone knew was that a car had driven off the road, smashed into a tree, and became engulfed in flames. It had been driven off the road. Inside the car were two burnt out remains. The two men would be identified via dental records. One was 21-year-old Hashim Ijazuddin, and the other 22-year-old Saqib Hussain. They were friends, both from Banbury, a town in Oxfordshire, and they'd been chased and driven off the road. They'd been killed. During that final 999 call, Saqib was, panicking on the phone, trying to get help from police. until, the call eventually went dead, and he said, they were just being chased by 2 cars. They didn't know what was going on. They couldn't identify who was chasing them, but they were terrified. Now, when the investigation began, so the police, they found this absolutely horrifying scene. As you can imagine, 2 men burnt to death inside this car. It was a fireball. The investigation began, and the first thing they went to was CCTV along these major roads, these motorways and highways, trying to, follow the chase. Maybe they could identify the chaser's vehicles, license plates. And guess what? License plate recognition happened to show up. Well, one of the plates belonged to Mehek Bukhari. Whoa, the famous influencer. They were already fans. And then they happened to learn that one of the victims was dating her mom. It was the following morning after the crash that police showed up to the Bukhari home, questioning both Mehek and Ansareen. They both denied being out chasing anyone. They said they had gone for a drive last night, but they had driven to an event in Nottingham City. Checking Saqib's phone, they found a number of calls and texts between the two the night before. Almost instantly, the 2 Bukhari girls were arrested. It seemed like all signs pointed to them being in at least one of those cars that had chased him off the road the night before. But the thing was, this wasn't a whodunit. This was a whydunit.
Yeah.
The police would find the driver of the second chasing vehicle, and it turned out to be a friend of Mehek's, of course, named Natasha. And when Mehek was questioned, she would say, yeah, we were out driving that night, going to an event. We were driving just fine. The blue car, her friend's car, absolutely driving fine. They were just driving down the road, perfectly normal as can be. The silver car, the one Saqib was in, they just came out of nowhere and started driving like a maniac.
Silver car, I don't know which brand it was, model. It's come zooming down. I've kept this second to 3 second rule gap, and the blue Leon's in front, and I'm at the back. This silver car's come and cut into the middle, so we're basically all 3 cars very close. I braked, and I said to my mum, what is this car trying to do? And my mum said, May, just keep your distance, everything's going to be okay, it's okay, just a reckless. As soon as I've turned around, this silver car's gone. Out from the, I didn't see, all I've seen is they've hit, and all I see is right, like a swerve. The silver car swerved to not my side, to the other side of the dual carriageway where the metal bits are basically. And I didn't see the car after that. I didn't hear a bang. Apparently there was mentioned there was a tree. I didn't see no tree. I didn't see anything. I've gone straight on. I looked at my mom and I said, Mom, what? I was just in shock.
She was terrified.
Man, lady, stop lying. Man, I wouldn't be surprised within that paragraph, that soliloquy she just gave, that she told 50 plus lies. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even be surprised, BT. She ain't doing nothing, sitting up there telling nothing but bold-faced freaking lies.
She didn't know who was in this silver car and where they were going, but she was, scared shitless. And she said she saw the car drive on up ahead and eventually go off-road, smash into a tree, and become engulfed in flames. She didn't know what to do. She kept driving. She then did a U-turn, drove back to see if they were okay, if she could help in any way. But she said that by the time they arrived, to Rubberneck, ambulances, EMTs, they were already there. But of course, the police could say via CCTV that she had done a U-turn, had rubbernecked at the 2 people it seemed she'd just killed, but there was no EMTs there. She had driven by to ensure they were dead, because she didn't call for help. So how did this all go down? Ansareen and Saqib had been having their little affair for a number of years before it all burnt out. According to her, it did so anyway. She tried to end it a number of times. He would always say no. No, let's stay together. He was obsessed with her, like big love heart eyes, insane love heart eyes though, I guess. Obsessed with her while this much older woman was just kind of messing him around. She was an elite mom after all. In 2021, Ansareen tried to break it off again, this time successfully, but Saqib was very, very upset. He begged her to get back with him. He said he would do anything if she just, got back with him. As I said, he was pretty obsessed with her. When she was putting the foot down and just said she would never speak with him ever again, well, that's when the blackmails began, and he said he would send videos and images to to her husband, the one she was living with, the one she was married to, of them in intimate, explicit videos if she didn't get back with him. It was either that or he was demanding £3,000 from her, which he claimed was that's what he had spent on her during the course of their relationship, buying her all sorts of gifts, restaurants, hotels, yada yada. Can't have that. So Ansreen eventually told Mahek, her daughter, who she was, very tight with, she told her everything about this. And Mahek said, well, we could go to the police, but I'd rather deal with this myself. No one messes with my elite mom. So, as I said, instead of going to the police, and of course if they went to the police, the husband might find out. So they would have to take care of Saqib themselves. And so you know what?
This is crazy, man, the way they came up with this idea to kill Saqib. And one thing that I had wrong, y'all, I was thinking that the father already knew about this ish. Like, he knew what was going on, but he couldn't do nothing about it, and he couldn't leave his wife. Y'all know how it be, those type of simp-ass husbands out here like that. But I'm just saying, man, that's how I was thinking. But no, he did not know nothing about this, and it's just crazy that it went on for years without him knowing. And then when it comes to Saqib sitting up here threatening to blackmail your ass about this issue if you don't get back together with me. Like, this whole thing, this whole affair, love triangle, whatever you want to call it, just went bad. And most of the time, when you doing ish like this, you married and you start doing stuff behind your husband or wife back, no matter how long it gonna take, but that damn dark is gonna come to light. Let's go.
They said, how about we set up a little meet for Saqib? Oh, and we'll give him the £3,000, all right. Yeah, we will. Basically, they were going to round up a few goons under the pretense of paying him off, but instead they're going to ambush him, bait 7 shades of shite out of him, and tell him, that if he ever came after Ansreen or threatened her again, he would get a lot more than a couple of knuckle sandwiches. There were 7 of them all together. Meanwhile, Saqib, he didn't have a car. He needed a ride to get to where the meet would be, where he assumed he was finally going to get his £3,000. He asked a friend of his named Hashim, who knew nothing of the plot or affair or whatever.
It's crazy, man.
Hashim was simply, thought he would help a friend out. Sure, you need a ride to this place in the middle of the night? Happy to do it. You're a friend. You're a mate. Of course I will. He didn't know anything about why he was going there. Anything. They arranged to meet in a Tesco car park in the middle of the night, but upon arriving, Saqib and Hashim, they knew something was off here, something was not right, and so they began driving away. They were like, nope, not doing this. And then a chase began, a chase which would end in them both exploding in a fireball. 6 of the people involved, including the 2 big brains, were charged with murder. 1 was cleared of all charges and told the police everything. 2 of the men were sentenced to life in prison. 3 of the others were sentenced to 11 to 14 years. As for Mahek, she was sentenced to life, a minimum of 31 years and 8 months. Her elite mom Ansreen, 26 years and 9 months.
See, this one of those weird cases, man, where I gotta just point out why everybody getting all these different ass sentences when all of them pretty much was doing the same thing. And I'm gonna take away all the people that they hired. I'm just talking about these 2 on the string. These 2 that we see right here, Cuckoo and Coco for Puffs. They both of their ass should be locked up for the rest of their life, being team. Just long story short, story long. Why she getting life and without the possibility of 31 years, and then the mama getting 26 years? Like, cut out all that ish, man. Lock them both up. Do the right thing. Forever.
When April Holt was found deceased in her shower, it didn't seem to make any sense whatsoever.
Make yourself unavailable to absolutely anything that doesn't serve you. When you make yourself unavailable to bullshit, you make space for better things, people, and opportunities. How to help someone else overcome social anxiety. Number 1, listen to how they feel and don't make them feel bad about it. They need someone to just listen sometimes. Number 2, offer small outings, like going to the store together, going on a drive through the city.
April Holt was a very successful TikToker. She posted a lot about mental health, how to be a better person. shared her family with her audience, and wanted to make sure folk took care of their own mental health. And it worked. She had a growing audience of 200,000 people. She was popular.
Well, Bean Team, I've heard this story before. Soon as I seen that goddamn man come up into the camera, I have heard this one before. Can't remember from where. And I'm pretty sure y'all may be familiar too. But let's hear Mike's narration of it. Crazy.
So, the 29-year-old mother of two, April Holt, being found unconscious in the bathroom of her Nashville home with a plastic bag duct taped tightly around her neck, it was horrifying. People who deal with mental health a lot can develop issues themselves, but it seems strange. April was so positive and so happy. And her mom, Jamie Dickerson, who, arrived to the hospital after April was immediately rushed there, saw the state her daughter was in, and saw the moment April Holt's life support was switched off. Well, it was a case of pure grief colliding with the pure belief that she did not do this to herself. She did not walk into the bathroom, turn on the shower, put a plastic bag around her head and duct tape around it. It just did not make sense whatsoever. Her mom knew someone had done this to her. Case was closed by the Nashville Metro PD as self-inflicted, done and done. But Jamie Dickerson did not believe that to be the case.
I'm making this post to make people aware of the situation that we have at hand. Let people come up with their own conclusions, since many people think that my actions might be unjustified. However, this is my child and I'm going to fight for justice for her. Her name is April Lynn Holt. On July 28th, she woke up, drank her coffee, journaled as usual, enjoying her peaceful morning, hugged and kissed her 7-year-old son Denzel, and her husband then went into the bathroom and began to argue and fight. My 7-year-old grandson put his ear to the door and heard his parents fighting, and he looked underneath to see both of their feet. He then listened some more, but he couldn't understand what they were saying, and so he looked back under the door again, where he saw my daughter laying on the ground.
Someone had done something and she would not stop until her daughter was brought to justice, even having her own growing TikTok asking for help in solving her daughter's, what she believed, murder. April was born in 1994. Her mom, Jamie, only 14 when she got pregnant. She grew up in Tennessee, having her own first daughter when she herself was 16. At 19, April met Donovan Holt, whom she would go on to marry. They were friends for a number of years before it got serious, but when it did quickly, and they would have a son together. Though Jamie always felt things were off for her daughter and her husband. Donovan, she would say, was a manipulative fella. Didn't like April being close with her own family. He worked as a chef and a musician, and had, by his own admission, manifested their marriage. If you believe hard enough, folks, and manipulate your way by manifesting, you can have whatever you want. They had broken up with each other a few times, but always ended up back together, even though he couldn't really hold a job and had maxed out a number of April's cards. Eventually, April said they were getting a divorce, and this was in 2021. But over time, like always, Donovan somehow managed to worm his way back into April Holt's life, and April Holt's life was going great. She was having her own businesses, her TikTok was exploding, she was becoming a voice in the mental health genre, the mental health sphere, with a growing audience. But I guess he manifested it, he did it again.
Story time, but I couldn't do it without him because I feel like it's wrong to only put out one side. So, here we go.
Like, this dude was like just a freaking leech in her life, like a parasite that she just couldn't get rid of, Bean Team. And when it did go away, it came right back. The infection came freaking right back, man. I hate it.
Okay, so the story is that we are getting divorced because of our decision. It's my best friend. I still love her to death. Like, we still got a child together. We still gonna be hanging out. I'm probably
all
gonna
the
see
time.
her most days of the week, but at the end of the day, we got shit to do. That's it.
And so the divorce was never finalized. So then in 2023, when April Holt was found dead of what the police would say was her own hand, Mom, Jamie, did not believe. All eyes turned towards Donovan. The day of, at the hospital, Jamie knew Donovan was acting weird. He was acting strange. He was a very manipulative and controlling guy. But when it came to, make decisions about April and the state she was in, he left it all to Mama Jamie, which she thought was weird. This was things he would most certainly have had a say in. Even when he had called her to let her know he had found his wife, in the bathroom with a bag over her head, she said even on the call his voice sounded strange. He didn't sound like you would think you would, in shock, in a panic, nothing. She then would learn that Donovan pawned off his wedding ring like a week after April Holt died. And finally, Jamie learned that their son had witnessed them fighting, Donovan and April fighting, right before she was found dead in the bathroom. Something was up, and so she kept pushing and pushing and pushing. The case was closed in everyone's eyes except Jamie's. After all, April had bruises on her body. The autopsy report said so, but the police, for whatever reason, said there was no signs of trauma. It was almost like the police didn't want to have to deal with a murder. Didn't seem like someone would do this, had been fighting with her husband, had bruises all over her body. She'd gone to slip and fall school and had tied a bag over her head. None of it made sense.
At all. None of it makes sense at all. Like, that's another thing, man. I'm still trying to think, y'all. Was it the Coffin Man where we heard this story before? Or Dial Trip? Or Just Thought Lounge? It was one of them, I bet. But I'm just still stuck on the fact, and Mike telling us about it now, how the police just didn't give a damn about this case. You just being blunt about it. Like, they didn't take this ish serious, and it's so much malpractice and weird things that happen. Like, why did she have all these bruises over her body? Why, when she decided to unalive herself, she did it in such a weird manner in the freaking shower with the shower running? She just decided to put a bag over her head and tape it up. Like, come on, like, why all this weird stuff going on? Then if you just look a little hard into the investigation, you will realize real soon that her husband, that's supposed to be her ex-husband by now, because of them with the divorce and they going back and forth, it wouldn't even take a lot to look into that they had problems in their relationship. Like, the police just, I don't know what they had going on with Dilson and why they just said, well, that what happened and we just case closed. Like, I don't know why they were so quick to just be like, case closed with Dilson, man. And another thing I want to say too real quick is W Mama, because Mama did a lot to help get her little girl case solved. Like, seriously, y'all, she did a shit ton of freaking TikTok videos, always talking about it, always putting the word out there. And it finally gonna pay off. Let's see it pay off.
Jamie kept pushing and pushing and pushing until eventually, I guess the higher-ups had heard that the police hadn't investigated this and pushed for an internal investigation, which produced a 47-page report. One little line in that entire report said there were 2 hits for Donovan Holt's fingerprints on the duct tape that was tied around April Holt's neck, holding that plastic bag together. Jamie, when she got access to the report, she sent a screenshot of this. She sent a screenshot of this to Donovan and said, "You could tell me what happened, or I'm gonna go to the cold case department." Donovan called her right back and calmly over the phone told Jamie that he had murdered April Holt. He told her everything. Jamie recorded the conversation. Donovan Holt was arrested in Texas in September 2024. A grand jury indicted him on reckless homicide, evidence tampering, and false reporting charges. He pleaded guilty to all 3. He has not been sentenced yet, but he faces the maximum of 12 years, which, you're probably in the same state as Jamie is, and that is insane. In fact, Jamie says, why isn't he being charged with murder? He clearly murdered her. Who knows why he hasn't been charged with that? Probably the same reason they didn't even investigate it as murder in the first place. God only knows. God only knows how Donovan Holtz will get out of this one. Has he tried manifesting his way out yet?
Man, I don't even remember that damn part, man. 12 years, that's it. I ain't even, let's just finish it up, B&T. We been here long enough. I'm not even finna go on one of them tangents. But y'all know that shit some fucking bullshit. Y'all know it. I already know y'all know it. 12 years? Really? He didn't get charged with murder after all this? His mama Let's go.
Thank you so much for watching. It truly means a lot to me that you're here watching this whole video, folks. I'll never be able to thank you all for the support and love over the years, and hope you enjoyed the next few videos to come, because I'm hella enjoying making them. So yeah, listen, next whole video will be up next Tuesday, so please look forward to that. Also, you can check out the That Chapter podcast, which has a brand new episode out every single Monday. Most recently, we're talking about the story of Alain Leger. Next week, we'll be talking about the very creepy and disturbing story of the Hex Hollow murder. So look forward to that. And I often get requests for cases or people saying I should cover this and that. I actually cover a lot of those stories on the podcast, like covered the story of Ellen Greenberg on the podcast, Zuzu Algred, that's on the podcast. So you can give them a go. Maybe we can have a look through some of the topics I've covered. Maybe some might be of interest to you, but you know what? Sure, look after yourself. Oh, and you know what? I gotta say, I'm a huge fan of the merch, so you know what? Please give it a if you want to, because I absolutely love it. But again, thank you so much for being here. Please take care of each other, and please take care of yourselves. Till I see you soon, because you know what? I love you. Mike out.
Hey, Bean Team. What we like to say? It is always a delight when we get to go back to Mike. Man, listen, y'all, I do not remember the ending of that one, y'all. I don't remember. I don't know. I can't even remember who the freak we watched it from. But I can't remember. I don't remember that him only being able to be charged with 12 fucking years. Are you serious, man? That is BS. And the police just was acting weird from the beginning with that one anyway, man. So it's like, they started off acting weird, they continued to act weird, and even when all the evidence point, even when this man that confessed to doing it, guess what they gonna keep on doing? Acting weird, talking about 12 years. Elf that, man. Elf freaking that. Rest in peace to that beautiful lady. I feel like that was one of those cases where that dude was like, if you ain't gonna be my wife, she ain't gonna be nobody else's wife. She'll never, you know what I'm saying? I'll never let her go. Before I let her go, I'll take her life, or whatever that stupid mind of a maniac killer ish that people have out here. The one before that, y'all, with the mama and the who I call them Cuckoo and Cocoa Puffs. Both of them should have been freaking locked up for the rest of their life, man. I don't even like their sentences for real. And the fact that they getting different sentences, the fact, man, I can go on and on about that one. I'm not finna go back down that road, big team. I'll just say the fact that they hire other people to do it, and these other people will actually end on it. It was 2 of them plus 5 other people. Friends and ish. That show you how that influencer ish on TikTok and stuff. You can get some people to do some crazy ish for you too. But rest in peace to the little young dude who died, even though he fell in love with the mama. Like I said, man, we ain't gonna go all the way back down that road. We ain't gonna go back down that road, Bean Team. Cause I already know we done been here over a freaking hour, man. The one before that, oh man, I already forgot her name, y'all. But the girl who got stalked by the crazy dude who met up to get a picture from her. That's the one that I will never really get any type of closure to and really know why and how it happened. You know what I'm saying, man? Just a sad case that just show you, man, regardless of you talking to somebody on the freaking these social media accounts, if you ain't never met them in real life before, you don't know them in real life. I'm just gonna keep it real, Bean Team. But rest in peace to her. And the first one, freaking Winter. Winter she just was throwing me off from her TikToks, man. I don't know what it was about her, but it was just something, man. And she ended up doing some craziness, and it's just crazy how you gonna say this man was attacking you. This was like self-defense. If it was self-defense, why the freak you ain't called the police as soon as you killed him? Why did you stab him 27 times? Why did you leave his body in there for 5 days with freaking fans blowing on his body to try to hide the smell and stop the decomposure and all that craziness? Freaking crazy, y'all, man. This was a crazy video from Mike. But I digress. I'm gonna go and let y'all go, Bean Team. I appreciate y'all coming on back as always, Bean Team. And before you leave, just please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and do all that if you ain't did that yet. And remember this: love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.